For the first time in many years, I had lost faith in my scouts. A scout is trustworthy, or so the first line of the scout law states. Yet, every night for the past 4 days, someone had stolen a bottle of milk from the staff refrigerator. Never in all my days as a camp director had I had this sort of problem. My staff always had been honest and dependable. I first noticed the thefts Tuesday morning. It was obvious. Every evening the staff received 12 bottles of milk from the main storage room. They placed them in the refrigerator in the staff kitchen to be available for next morning's breakfast. Tuesday, they brought to my attention that there were only 11. My initial reaction was that maybe the storeroom had only sent 11 the night before, but a check of the inventory sheet showed that wasn't so. We had received our 12 bottles. I decided not to say anything. No sense getting everyone aroused over a bottle of milk. Someone must have gotten thirsty, and besides, it probably was a one-time thing. It wasn't. Wednesday morning, there were again only 11 bottles of milk in the refrigerator where 12 had been the night before. I questioned the kitchen staff, but nobody knew anything, or at least they weren't talking. When the same thing occurred Thursday and Friday mornings, it was time to take action. I couldn't believe that some scout was stealing milk, especially since there was soda and bug juice in the same refrigerator. But the evidence was overwhelming. Obviously, when the scout saw how easy it was to get away with stealing the first time, he continued. I wasn't concerned about the loss of milk. All they had to do was ask. The fact that a scout would take something without asking, and continue to do so night after night, infuriated me. Someone was dying for milk. 4 days was enough. I called the staff together for a meeting. Without mentioning the disappearance of the milk, I reminded them of the camp rules regarding the kitchen and food. Nobody except kitchen workers were allowed in the kitchen. And nobody helps themselves to any food without permission. I mixed in several other rules in relation to the staff area in general, such as keeping tents straight and no noise after 10 o'clock. My object was not to accuse, but to make the milk thief feel guilty and stop stealing on his own. This always had been an effective ploy in the past. It wasn't this time. Another bottle of milk gone Saturday. Was I mad? I had to take a walk in the woods to calm down. It was bad enough that one of my scouts would steal, but continue to do so after yesterday's talk was a slap in the face, a direct confrontation with me. I had always considered every boy on my staff as a friend, and now someone couldn't be trusted. I was determined to find out who. I called another staff meeting. This time, I laid it on the line. I told the boys that someone had been stealing milk from the kitchen for the past 5 days in direct violation of the rules. I don't know who it is, but I'm going to find out, and when I do, you're going to be sorry. Whoever it is doesn't deserve to be a scout. I came down pretty hard on the boys, but I wanted to. I meant every word I said. The scouts left the meeting talking amongst themselves, and I was sure that this is the end of it. Peer pressure would win out. Wrong again. Another bottle of milk is missing Sunday morning. I said nothing. Someone is doing this just to get you mad, I said to myself. Don't let him win. And later that morning, after the staff left that area to attend to their duties after the camp, I went to work. The thief had stolen 6 bottles of milk, and he had to have hidden the empties somewhere. I checked all the trash cans within walking distance, but found nothing. There wasn't a milk bottle to be found. The scouts were too smart for that. I went back and searched under the tent floorboards. Still nothing. I even wandered into the woods to look for the bottles. I know scouts don't litter, but they're not supposed to steal either. I found 2 soda cans, a half-eaten bag of potato chips, and a rusty pocket knife, but no milk bottles. I gave up. That evening, I set a trap. Tripwires crisscrossed the door to the kitchen, and each connected to a series of 10 cans full of rocks. Everybody trying to enter the kitchen would make enough noise to wake the camp. The trap was set. All I had to do was lie in my tent and wait. About 1 o'clock in the morning, I was startled by the noise as a rock and tin can came crashing. "It's the trap!" I yelled as I jumped to my feet. "I've got to get him now!" I ran to the kitchen door. There, trying to untangle himself from the ropes and cans, was John Warner, a staff member. "So it's you, Johnny." "Wait, I heard a noise and came out to investigate. I've never taken any milk." I went to check the refrigerator. There was a bottle of milk missing. Johnny couldn't possibly have taken it. He hadn't entered the kitchen yet. Then who? And how? The next day I broke one of my long-standing principles. I installed a combination lock on the kitchen door. Never did I think it would be necessary to lock up anything on a scout reservation, particularly in the staff area, but I had tried everything else. Only the head cook, to whom I had given the combination, and I could ever enter the kitchen after hours. I wouldn't catch the thief, but at least I'd end the thefts. Or so I thought. Again, there were only 11 bottles of milk in the refrigerator come Tuesday morning. I couldn't believe it. First, the kid had eluded my trap the night before, and now, somehow, the thief had passed by a locked door. I wasn't dealing with an ordinary scout thief. This kid was a pro. Maybe a cat burglar in the off-season. I devised another plan for that night. Right after dark, I counted 12 bottles of milk in the refrigerator and had the head cook put the lock on the door, with me inside. I found a comfortable spot in the corner of the kitchen, behind a chair. I was out of sight of the door, yet had a good view of the refrigerator. I sat on the floor and prepared to spend the night. No way would the thief elude me now. It was 2 o'clock in the morning when I first heard the noise. Unmistakable, it was the turn of the tumbler on a combination lock. I laced my eyes above the chair to see. The door made a creaking sound as it opened, and I ducked down as not to be seen. I've got to catch the boy red-handed. I thought, I've got to catch them with the milk. The next sound I heard was the opening of the refrigerator door. I've got him. With flashlight in hand, I jumped from my hiding place. There, not more than 10 feet away, was a bottle of milk. It was floating in midair toward the door. I stumbled, trying to see it. Damn chair, I cussed. As I picked myself off the floor, I could see the bottle moving swiftly out the door. When I reached the door, it was gone. I closed it and went to my tent. I sat quietly at the breakfast table the next morning. My faith in my fellow scouts had been restored, but this didn't explain the occurrences of the night before. How could locks open by themselves? How could a bottle float through the air? These are questions that I could not begin to answer. But the answers came that afternoon. The Coyote Patrol of Troops 750. They were taking a hike along the lightly traveled dirt road near the camp when a boy thought he heard a baby cry. The patrol followed the sound and came upon a green car that had obviously gotten off the road and crashed into a tree. The car could not be seen from the road. Upon investigation, they found that the driver, a young woman, was dead. She most likely had died on impact, a fact that the autopsy report would later establish as having happened 9 days later. But also, strapped in the car seat next to her, was a small baby boy, only a few months old. It was alive and faintly crying. And there on the floor were 9 empty bottles. A mother's love. A mother's love for her child was stronger than death.